You feel weightless, but not in the good way. Not like an astronaut floating in zero gravity. You feel weightless like a plastic bag caught in a gust of wind. You have total freedom. You can quit your job tomorrow. You can break up with your partner via text message. You can move to a new city, reinvent your personality, and start over with a fresh set of friends by next weekend. You have removed all the friction from your life. You have optimized everything for flexibility. So why do you feel so incredibly heavy? Why does every decision feel paralyzing? Why does your freedom feel less like a liberation and more like a vacuum? You are suffering from a very specific modern pathology. You are drowning in options, but starving for meaning. You are terrified that if you stand still for too long, you'll sink. So you keep moving, you keep swiping, you keep scrolling. You think you are keeping your options open, but actually, you're just refusing to land. Let's dissect this feeling, because it is not just anxiety. It is a structural shift in the history of the human species. The sociologist Zygmunt Bauman gave this condition a name. He called it liquid modernity. For most of human history, we lived in what Bauman called solid modernity. Life was heavy. It was fixed. You were born into a class. You had a job for life. You married one person. You lived in one community. It was restrictive. It was rigid. But it was solid. You knew where you stood. You had a shape. But then we melted the structures. We decided that solidity was a prison. We wanted to be free. So we entered the liquid phase. In liquid modernity, nothing keeps its shape. Forms, institutions, relationships, careers cannot hold their shape for long because they decompose and dissolve faster than the time it takes to cast them. Imagine you are trying to build a house, but instead of bricks, you're handed water balloons. You try to stack them. They wobble, they slip, they burst. You try to lean on a wall and you fall right through it. This is your life. Your job is a gig. Your relationship is a situationship. Your home is a short-term rental. Everything is temporary. Everything is transferable. Everything has an exit clause. Bauman argued that in this state, the ultimate value is mobility. The winner is the person who travels light, the person who has no attachments, the person who can cut ties instantly. But here's the cost. Meaning requires friction. Meaning requires binding. You cannot build a strong identity in a liquid world because identity requires a mold. It requires something to push against. If you are fluid, you are nothing. You're just a puddle, taking the shape of whatever container you happen to be in at the moment. And here's the incision. Here's why you feel that gnawing emptiness at 3 a.m. You have confused freedom with unattachment. You think that by refusing to commit, by refusing to keep one foot out the door in every relationship, by never truly investing in your community, you're protecting yourself. You're staying agile. You aren't agile. You are irrelevant. In a solid world, your value came from what you built. In a liquid world, your value comes from your ability to be consumed. You have turned yourself into a product. You are constantly rebranding. You are curating your profile. You're polishing your surface so you can slide easily into the next slot. But products are disposable. If you have no roots, you can be pulled up by the slightest breeze. This is the terror of liquid life, because nothing is binding. Nothing matters. If you can replace your partner in 5 minutes on an app, then your partner has no inherent value. They're just a placeholder. And if they're a placeholder, then so are you. You are terrified of commitment because commitment is heavy. It anchors you. It stops the flow. But without the anchor, you're just driftwood. You are floating in an ocean of infinite choice, dying of thirst. So, how do we survive the flood? We do not try to go back to the past. We cannot rebuild the old solid world. That factory is closed. We must learn to create islands of solidity. You have to voluntarily choose to add a weight to your life. You have to accept the burden of binding. This means you stop optimizing for exit velocity. You start optimizing for friction. You choose a person and you delete the apps. You say, I am closing the exit door. I am staying here even when it gets boring, even when it gets hard. You choose a craft and you do it for 10 years, not because it's a hustle, but because you want to know what it feels like to be good at something. You choose a place and you learn the names of your neighbors. You have to tie yourself to the mast. When you bind yourself to something, you lose your freedom. You can't just float away anymore. But you gain density. You become real. You become a solid object in a liquid world. The water will rush past you, the trends will change, the economy will shift, but you will stand. Because you are no longer defined by your movement. You are defined by what you hold onto. The unbearable lightness of being modern is that you can be anything, so you end up being nothing. Stop trying to be water. Be the rock. Drop the anchor.